Hi, friends. This is Wendy Harrop, and welcome to the Say Yes to Yourself podcast. On the Say Yes to Yourself podcast, you'll hear stories from women just like us who are adding the practice of saying yes in their daily lives in big and small ways, and as a result, are experiencing the truth that everybody wins when you say yes to yourself. Saying yes to yourself is a graceful unfolding, an intentional becoming of the very best version of you. It is my hope that in these conversations, we are able to find our truth and be inspired and empowered to live our very best lives. I'm so excited to go on this journey with you, and I look forward to finding a bit of our own story in each other's. Bonjour, mon ami. Welcome back to the podcast. I am so delighted to have you here. And as you can imagine, I am also delighted to be in France. I'm so happy. I am happy that we're still close to the beginning of my month here. I am with beautiful clients in the beautiful Charente-Maritime region. We are taking advantage of all the fun, beautiful things that this region has to offer. Stone carving workshops and jewelry workshops with fabulous Jess from the Cognac Jewelry School. Oh gosh, we're touring Citadel Gin. We're spending a day on Ile de Ré. We're having fantastic meals and visiting beautiful brocantes and antique shops and darling villages and so much goodness. And we are staying in a beautiful chateau just for us the whole time. And it is just so fun. It's delightful, and I just can't wait for you to join me on one of these trips. We have lots of options. You can always look in the show notes for what's going on, but I'm telling you, it is so fun. It is like this podcast, but with a passport, and it's so fun. So yummy, delicious, expansive, all the good things. Oh my goodness. And another good thing is today's guest. Today we have Sheridan Ruth. She's so fantastic. She is also going to be one of the presenters at our next Say Yes Summit, which is in November. You can check the show notes for the link to that as well. You are definitely going to want to sign up. It's 2 days of fabulous conversations, just like you hear here on the podcast, but you can be there live. We do it virtual on Zoom, but you are in the conversation, asking questions of these amazing humans. And once you hear today's episode, you are definitely going to want to put this summit on your calendar. So today we have Sheridan Ruth. She is a nervous system specialist and the author of the new book, Somatic Intelligence for Success. She has guided hundreds of clients spanning multiple continents and industries through thousands of coaching hours. Her clients consistently report a decrease in burnout symptoms, breakthroughs in confidence, income, and alignment with their purpose, creating ripple effects in their communities and industries. An expert in community development, sustainability, yoga psychology, Ayurveda, and integrative somatic trauma therapy, Sheridan has used her extensive knowledge and personal experience to create a unique coaching model called body-based business to teach clients how to build sustainable, profitable, and purposeful businesses using the wisdom of their nervous system. She believes each individual has immense power to create positive cultural change, and her goal is to help them do so with more ease, efficiency, resilience, innovation, and creativity. Am I right? I know you're going to love her. I cannot wait to share this beautiful, expansive conversation with Sheridan Ruth. Sheridan, I already love you so much. I'm so excited for this conversation. There's just, as we were chatting a little bit before I hit record, there is magic that happens when women come together that are committed to their highest and best, that it draws out the highest and best from everyone else around them, and people that just aren't at that vibration are nowhere around. Like they're we're not attracting any of that. And I am so excited to witness the unfolding of that with you today. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much. This feels so correct. I was literally just on a call with a client and she's navigating the situation. She has a agency and she co-manages it with her partner. And she's, it's hard. It's, hard to be married and run a business with your partner. And she's very much come to that place of, number one, she's experiencing a really big grief because she's realizing, okay, this wasn't what I expected.
Yeah.
And before the session, before our work together, she would really try to manage him.
Mm.
But what we came back to in the session after being with that grief was just her being like, okay, this is what I want to feel like in my day. This is what I want to feel like in my business. I am committing to that for me. And her commitment to that for herself is what is going to ultimately invite him to find what you just said, the highest
Absolutely.
and best.
Yes. And that it's that attractive power. It's the rising tides raise all ships. And it doesn't
Yeah.
even matter if he doesn't want exactly the same thing that she wants. His rise is his rise. And that's beautiful. And those are
Yeah.
the times when everyone's rising, it doesn't always matter if they're not doing exactly what you thought it was going to look like for them, because you're also rising and you don't care because you're just in it for
Pretty
you. Like
much.
you care, but it's not taking you out of your game like it used to. When I used to think I was in control and that I actually had control, it was a semblance of control. When I was trying to control all of the conditions so that everyone in what I thought was my charge would be as happy as possible because their happiness made me happy, or actually their unhappiness messed with my happiness. So what I thought was, in service and so darling of me to take care of them, it was really because it like made my day better. But once I owned my own experience, and in doing that, released control and allowed them to own their own experience, some stayed and some didn't. And it was a beautiful blessing, however, it turned out.
It's really interesting because it's a lot of it comes back to control. And, I wrote a book about preventing burnout and building a business while preventing burnout. And I've led women for years on building businesses. And it's funny because I think that we're given this idea on two worlds. Number one, relationships make more sense when we control the people around us. So I make sure that they're happy. I make sure that they do things on time. And then it's very quickly that the manager and the controller comes out. And then I feel like we're in this place, at least what I have written with the book and what we've been practicing for many months, where more and more people are beginning to remember and realize that the success of your career, the success of yourself, the success of your business doesn't happen when we try to control and like fit things into marketing schemes and like do things correctly and right and like make sure. It actually comes when we sit with that essence of ourselves that knows that you're out of control and we're just really trying to do our best. And we also at the same time have a lot of value and a lot of gifts and a lot of service that we can provide to the world, and we can receive payment in return. And so it's like this funny little place when we talk about it with money and business where we have to really let go of parts of ourselves that want to control everything because we're scared. But at the same time, we do need to be a little bit, not strategic necessarily, but we need to have certain skills. So it's a very interesting place to be. And then on top of that, I think as women who are juggling 1,000 different things and have a magic about us, it's really interesting.
I mean, it's a whole dance, and we will not run out of books for sure,
No.
because, or podcasts to listen to, or conversations to have. And I think it's not because it's a problem with a bottomless pit that can never be answered, but because we're hungry to learn of a better way. We're hungry to know that this it doesn't it's out of alignment. We are hungry to restore that alignment, that relationship with ourself that has us show up in our relationships, in our businesses, with our clients, with our families, with our in-laws, at the grocery store, in traffic, that is our highest and best, the way that we want to show up.
Yeah, I like that you say the word restore, but I also like, I think that's true for a lot of people in when we haven't been there before. But there's also this thing that I like to invite people into, especially when we're working together. I have a group program called the Academy, and we call it the practice ground. So it's just, we just practice
Mm,
it. So there's actually no end in sight,
yeah.
because you're right. It's not like this bottomless problem that we need to fix and fix ourselves. It's just there are 1,000 things that pull us away from that deep alignment every single day. And
Mhm.
that will never stop happening. So we just come back and return, and then we come
Right.
back and return, and then we come back and return.
Exactly. Yeah. And we're all leading each other home,
Yes.
right? It's so good. And are you finding that the women that you're working with are, I don't know, I'm not trying to ask this question like I'm seeing it the opposite. Let me rephrase.
Yeah.
I'm finding that what I thought or heard stories of competitiveness or just anything like that in business. I was a wedding planner for 30 years, and there was a group of wedding planners that felt like every other planner was the competition. And there were a group of planners like me who thought, oh my gosh, I don't want every bride. I want there to be lots of wedding planners so we can spread this out. And I want the right bride for me. I want you to have the right bride for you. So I'm feeling like there is, maybe it's my age as well, that there are just more women in my circle and in the entrepreneurs that I'm speaking with that are supporting what other people are doing because it's either modeling what's available for them,
Yeah.
or it's calling them up, or it's saying, I love that for you. I want this over here.
Yeah. Honestly, I've not ever been exposed through my work to women who are competitive. Whenever I've had a group program, there's never ever been a competitive edge or a comparison.
I love that.
I think that's probably because of the type of people that I end up attracting. But I will say I felt it in myself, of, a fear of, let's just, I don't want to sound gross about it, but like that other woman. Like I've definitely felt, for example, it's really interesting. I recently gave a talk at the local library for women female founders, and there was about, I'd say, 50 people in the room. And I finished speaking, and the facilitator goes, and so, does anybody have any questions? She passes the microphone to this one woman who immediately stood up. And she stood up and she takes the microphone. And I kid you not, this moment was incredibly uncomfortable for everybody in the room. This woman starts saying, okay, number one, I can see you have alopecia. I have no hair. I lost my hair when I was young. We spoke about it inside of the thing. We can talk about it. we can talk about it in a sec, but I lost my hair when I was 7 years old. And this woman comes and she stands up and she goes, okay, well, I also lost my hair, but I found this quantum healing and it healed my hair. Like, have you ever tried it? And also, I would like to invite everybody to this room to my crypto event, which we're hosting next Thursday. And she didn't have a single question for me. She made a comment about hair, insinuated that I could use her quantum healing, which I have thoughts on regarding her healing, which I don't want to discount her experience. And also, science says certain things. And then she invited us to her event. And I was actually so grateful for the moment because we're talking about embodied regulated entrepreneurship. And so I'm sitting there and I was like, this is amazing. This worked out really well because this is like the ultimate moment for me to practice that and for them to see it in real time. And I felt like it was just like God given. It was really cool.
That's amazing.
But then I see people like that and I'm like, oh yeah, these people 100% exist.
Mhm. Right. And it should shock us and take us by surprise every time rather than expecting that. Um, I'm speechless and have so much to say about that at the same time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh my gosh. Wow. And I feel compassion for her in the recognition of how when some people just not that like if I want to hear about your process and how you respond to that, but I'm just reminded when I'm around people like that are just like so out of left field, and just to think, wow, like they just want to be heard. They want to be heard so badly that the first time with the microphone, they're just like bringing in all of the things that they think they have to say before the big hook comes and drags them off the stage. It's so wow.
Yeah, I have that as well. I felt a lot of compassion for her for so many things. Number one, doing a new business venture or something, I think that that can bring out a lot of our insecurities and that proving that part of us that wants to prove something. And it does exactly what you spoke about. It just jumps. And I think that those are the parts of us that compare, are competitive. It's just living in this dysregulated state of fear, of complete fear. If I don't say it now, nobody will hear me. If I don't say it louder, nobody will hear me. If I don't push and invite them, then they won't know that I exist and they won't care and they won't want more. And I've been there. I've been that person. And then there's also the layered thing of like you go through something traumatic and you find somebody who has experienced a similar thing that immediately you're just like, let's talk about it. So I felt a lot of compassion and towards her. And a lot of people came up to me and were like, wow, you handled that really gracefully. And I was like, there's no other way. Like she's
Right.
going through a period and a stage that I've been through it. It's not easy. The only way to handle it is with care.
Right. And a therapist and
Yeah.
or a mentorship, right?
Please,
Because
a
right,
therapist and a coach and a mentorship.
right. Maybe before you pick up a mic. But
Yeah.
right. Because I think that what I'm learning just about myself is in these opportunities when I'm feeling like I no one is listening to me, like I need to be heard, is to just turn that back onto myself and grab my journal and grab my pencil and like what is trying to speak to me? What am I not listening to? What part of me am I how am I not listening to myself that I'm projecting onto everybody else? There's a practice that because I have not read your book and I don't have your fabulous tools, but I'm eager to hear about them. But there's a practice from a woman, Amber Ray. It's very, very simple journaling prompt that is just, hey, Wendy, this is fear talking, and this is what I need you to know. And then
Yeah.
just to free write from fear or from feeling ignored or shunned or silenced or not considered, or like what are those things that the opposite is grabbing a microphone and doing something that was not on the agenda?
Yeah. Well, we actually have a practice very similar to that in the book. It's almost as if you did feel into that and you're already doing that. It's just what are these parts of me and what are they trying to tell me? And how can I actually listen to them and learn what they need? Even when we have little parts of ourselves, I have a client who is really unwell at the moment, and there's a part of her that's like, oh, I don't want to wallow. And she's like, I gave compassion to it, but it's not going away. I was like, yeah, but have you listened to what it needs? What is it trying to tell you when it says, I don't want to wallow? It's not just being mean to you. It's trying to communicate that it has a need that needs to be met. Like, what would that be? What does fear need? Yeah, all of these different parts of ourselves, they always are trying to communicate to us about what is important to us.
Right. I appreciate your work so much because growing up, I felt like my mom is listening and I don't want her to feel like this was the rule that you posted on the refrigerator that happiness is the only tolerated emotion. But I
Mm.
was definitely, it was the most encouraged of emotions. So when I'm very new to anger. I'm very new to,
Congratulations.
thank you. I've been doing some rage walking. I'm a super
Love
fan.
it.
um, I'm I'm ready to introduce myself. Oh, I might start crying, which would indicate that I am ready to introduce myself to grief.
Yeah.
And my question for you about that is in dipping our toe into these places that I know I want to go. I If there's something shadowy, I want to get a flashlight in there, like let's do it. But I also like want to do it within this 30-minute session with somebody else on the phone with
Yeah.
me. And but to really, I don't want to check grief off my list. I want to be with it. And how, so I guess my question is, how can a person understand the answer to the question of what is my grief trying to tell me, or what does my grief need, when I have not paid attention to what it has needed and I'm 57 years old?
Yeah. Well, I think if we can keep this in mind, grief is telling us that something has been lost, which tells us what we care about, what we
Hmm.
value, and probably what we want. We can use that information to figure out what we create in the future.
Mm-hmm.
But if we go into understanding grief with the understanding of, it's telling me what I value and what I want, because it means that I've lost it at some point, or I didn't get it. And then we have to be a little bit mindful, I think, with grief, because it's not like other emotions where you can go into them and we are 100% sure that there's like you sit with it for 90 seconds, then you come out on the other side. I feel like anger for me
Sure.
is usually, if I'm with anger for long enough, like I get over it and move forward.
Right.
Grief has this dense energy in the body that will pull you into a downward spiral if you do not have the nervous system capacity to hold the energy.
Sure.
And one of the ways that we have capacity to hold grief is that we hold it with people. So they help us. So that's why we want to hold it in that 30-minute window.
Oh, good.
So it's not a bad idea to say, like, okay, I'm actually just going to grieve in this 30 minutes and then I'm going to not do that. When my ex-partner, Alejandro, he passed away, I grieved in 15-minute intervals every
Yeah.
single day
Okay.
because it was freaking heavy.
Yeah.
And I had a life that I had to do.
Right.
But I also knew that I needed to grieve. So I was like, I would just feel it for 15 minutes and I put a sad song on and I would
Okay.
feel it for 15 minutes and then I'd have a shower and move on. And that's a really healthy thing to do because what we're doing from a trauma therapy point of view is something called titration. You could Google it,
Mm,
but it's this act of like going into the depth and
sure.
into the feeling and feeling into it, and like who are you? What do you feel like in my body? Are you heavy? Are you light? Are you a color blue? Do I feel you in my
Mm,
chest? Do I feel you in my hands? Do I feel you in my belly? What songs do we think of? If I journal on you, what do you say? Are you just heavy and sad and nothing and numbness? And if so, is that okay? But then we counterbalance that with looking out the window and, oh, and I'm deeply grieving and life is beautiful.
mhm.
I'm heavy and eating some tacos made me feel good.
Right. Yeah.
And the practice of grieving is just that, of being with it and then returning back to lightness.
Mm,
Because otherwise it gets too heavy and you end up collapsing. Your body will collapse. You're not meant to hold so much pain.
thank you. I'm so excited. It turns out I'm doing it right.
You are doing it right.
I'm so glad because I thought,
Yeah.
gosh, I'm gonna have to like clear my calendar because I gotta do this grief thing, and I think it's gonna be dark. And it's gonna take a long time, and I love that. Thank you. I think it's so beautiful to be reminded that really we're not going to do it wrong.
Mm,
The desire to grow comes with it. The teachers that we need, the mentors that we need, the conversations, and all of it is just such a beautiful gift.
yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
I'm so sorry about Hunter. Was that a catalyst for your work starting? Were you already doing this work?
No, very much so, the catalyst.
Okay.
So it was one of those things that was incredibly tragic, but
Yeah.
also the very best thing that's ever happened to me. And I even feel confident that that there's an understanding that he also was aware of that. So we were in a very bad relationship. He was quite abusive towards me for 5 years that we were together. And I was living alone by myself, with him, but in a different country. It was not a good time period in my life. And then I found the courage to leave. And shortly after, he committed suicide.
Mm,
So, and then it was just honestly just insane the things that happened afterwards. Like I
mm,
was in Colombia and I love that country so much, but holy moly, the things that occurred, just the issues with the police and then the
mm.
estate. And I ended up getting threatened by Pablo Escobar's cousin, cousin who is a lawyer. And I hired her as a lawyer without knowing. And then she ended up threatening me. It was really weird. There were
Oh
like
my
lots of
gosh.
things yeah, it was crazy. Um, so that happened. And
Because you just
um,
only go big.
yeah, apparently.
Yeah.
But so it's put me in this place where it was like I was so incredibly traumatized and
Mm,
I was in so much grief and so much confusion. I was diagnosed with complex PTSD. I was still working in finance and also teaching yoga.
wow.
And I was running a foundation as well. So
Of
I
course.
don't know how I was doing all these things, but I was noticing that I was really trying to work through the heavy stuff and the not healthy behavioral patterns that I developed.
Hmm.
I was pretty toxic. I think we can just
Sure.
call it for what it was. And I was really trying not to be. So I was like going to therapy and like doing the things, but I just kept finding myself doing these toxic things with the people in my life and also
Mm,
being really worried about money when I really didn't need to be, and also just eating a lot of food
mm.
and then doing a lot of yoga to like compensate for it. Like I was just in lack of health. And there was this moment where I just found my body and I remembered, oh, okay, this is actually helping. My body helps. And then I found a mentor and I did the right Google searches and I found all of this somatic therapy and I just studied the nervous system like crazy for years, years and years and years. And it was a pathway, but the catalyst really was truly his passing. Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing. I'm sorry that I didn't know that. I hope that,
No, that's okay.
okay.
I don't lead with it. I try not to lead
Okay.
with it too much because I don't know, it doesn't feel important to do that. You know what I mean?
Totally. And you don't want to be that girl that happy, like you want to be
Exactly.
this woman that you are. And here's a little backstory of why I decided to find this healing work.
Exactly. Exactly.
Right.
It's not something to be defined by.
And I mean, when you're not anywhere near my age, but by the time we get here, there are so many stories we could lead with that it's just like,
I
oh
can
my
imagine.
gosh, please. The
Yeah.
Instagram bio of however many 14 words or whatever you're supposed to do, it's like, whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, the answer is I am 57. So
And
there's
that is
a
the answer.
that's me. So yes, let's talk about where I'm going because that's a shorter story than where I've been.
Where do you want to go?
Oh, thank you. What a fun question. I desire more guest rooms and a longer table.
Beautiful.
I love holding space for women that are holding space for themselves. I I am committed to myself and to saying yes to the things that delight me, and that is more delightful when I am in contribution and in service to a community of people who are committed to their highest and best, and we
Yeah,
are cheering each other on and modeling it for our children in the process. That's where I'm going.
that's outstanding.
Thank you. Where are you going?
I'm going to a world where every single person, particularly women, go to work every day, whatever their work is, and feel alive and excited and committed and on purpose and supported.
Mm, I'll meet you there.
Yeah. Thank you for asking that. That's a thing that I've been pondering. And obviously, I've got the vision statement and the mission statement, but there's an interesting thing that happens when you start to look at your work and your impact in the world outside of the normal thought structures that you have.
Yes.
And I feel like that question helped me do that because it's different. It's the way you ask it it's the way that we asked it is different. Yeah.
Right. It's so beautiful. I think that I've been looking at my about page on my website, and somebody else wrote it, some web
Mm,
designer a long time ago who didn't listen to me nor never met me, which is not the
fair.
person that should be writing it. And it irritates me so much that I don't even look at it, which that's a whole nother show. And I realized in some journaling just in this past week, like I think that my resistance around what's written there or how to narrow down a life well lived into a few bullet points is because I am really so much more concerned with where I'm going than where I've been.
Yeah.
And I want to focus there. And I find that even the beautiful gift that this podcast is, and the way that this one question that I ask every guest, and that's the only question that I've quote unquote prepared, which if you ask it every time, you're really not prepared in it anymore. And that every guest has been preparing their whole life for the
Mm,
conversation. So it feels like an invitation to really be present. But in asking that question, I love that it has no explanation is required, because it's
mm,
just how are you saying yes to yourself in this season? And you are the only barometer, you are the only recipient, you are the only consequence, you are the only beneficiary. It's just such a fun question to hear the answer to that I don't even, when I just meet people on the airplane, at coffee, at a cocktail party, I don't ask anybody what they do. I ask, how are you saying yes to yourself in this
I
season?
love that.
It's just, I feel like we get to become anyone we want to when we are looking ahead.
It's so perfect. It also is just so empowering. And maybe I can feel everyone like is going to go look at your about me page now, but I think that's all that matters.
I do too. Because that's who I'm calling myself toward her, and everyone that's called to me wants to move toward their highest and best as well.
And it has this layer of almost forgiveness
Oh, so
and
much
self-compassion
forgiveness. Yes.
of like it actually doesn't matter what has happened in the past or who
Mm-hmm.
you've been or the ways that you haven't said yes to yourself. It's just
Right.
okay. And now how are you saying yes to yourself?
Yes.
And okay, and how are you saying yes to yourself? And there's this feeling of everything is okay, which is so inherently regulating to the system, is so beautiful to feel in your body of just, oh, I don't need to explain. I don't need to
Right.
justify, which I think as women, I don't know, but have you ever read the book The Dance of Anger?
No,
I think it might be time for you to read the book.
I think it is.
It is one of my favorite books. It's the only book that I recommend on anger. It was written many, many years ago by a really wonderful woman. And she says in this book a beautiful, beautiful sentence of how I'm going to butcher it. And I had the book downstairs. I'll get it out and say it, but I don't. So it says, why are women always trying to justify why they feel angry? It's just like being thirsty. When you're thirsty, you say, I'm thirsty. I need a glass of water. You don't justify that you've already had a glass of water today,
Mm.
that you shouldn't have a glass of water because that person over there has had a bigger glass of water. She's had less glasses of water. You say, I am thirsty. I need a glass of water. And anger is the exact same thing.
Oh
And I
my
feel like
gosh.
we've created this pattern of justification. But what if you don't?
Yes, yes, yes. Because just like how you said you don't want to lead in. It's like, okay, I have alopecia. I lost my hair at 7. I was in this terrible relationship and I had the courage to get out and he committed suicide and then I did it's like blah blah. I mean, it's new to me, but I'm
Sure.
like me, it's
Great.
like, oh my gosh, 24 Mother's Days without a baby and then finally blah and then got to New England and then you get a divorce. Ugh, I'm so tired of that story. It's
Yeah, I'm
why
tired of
I'm
it too. I'm
it's
sick
why
of it.
I'm not living it anymore. It's why I've evolved.
Exactly.
So I would rather not
Exactly.
talk about it and not because I'm ashamed, not because it's just oh my gosh. I don't my windshield is I'm looking out the windshield, not in the rearview mirror. And all of those places are great and they got me to where I am and yay, let's get on the road.
But it also from a place of who am I building this with? I don't want to build people who are going to resonate with that story because the whole point is that we're done with it.
That's right.
I'm building with people who are saying yes to themselves in a way that aligns with how I'm saying yes with myself.
Mhm. The end. Oh, that will fit on an Instagram bio. It's so good,
And the people who get it.
right? And again, with the justification, it's like you don't have to explain yourself to the people that you are for. You cannot say
Mm,
the right thing to the wrong people, and you can't say the wrong thing to the right people.
I agree with that wholeheartedly.
Right?
Yeah.
It's energetic. And all the work that you're doing with these somatic practices, it's getting us in touch with what that actually means. This internal guidance system of our body, when it is dysregulated, that is your sign to pull off the highway and the check engine light is on.
Yeah.
Here are some tools to move through this, and how can we create an environment that is safe, that we are safe in it, and we are the creators of it.
Yeah. So inside of pillar 3 in the book, we talk a lot about creating that environment. And I don't get to talk about it a lot because everyone wants
Ooh,
to talk about
oh,
the
go, go.
regulation and like the healing. So yeah, let's, and it
Do it.
talks about identifying number one, yourself, your alignment with self. And then number two, what is resilience to you? And we go into a bit of the science resilience. Then we find what we call like the flow state, which changes so much over time. And there's a lot of science around why it's so supportive. But I think of sustainability and resilience as you protecting that flow state at all costs. And it doesn't mean that I mean that you're focused and you're actually working all the time. It's how do you want to feel? Well, okay, my client, she wanted to feel calm and happy and proud. So then when you're saying yes to yourself, you're saying, what needs to happen in my life, in my money, in my relationships, in my lifestyle, in my grocery shopping, in the way that I care for my plants, in my technology, in the way that I manage my inbox, in the way that I manage my clients or the referrals that protects those qualities.
It's so beautiful. And because we are the creator of that, your client is the one that is coming up with those pillars. So she knows what it feels like
Yeah.
when it's off target. And then we can course correct.
I've had this thought and I haven't thought about it and I could share my opinion, but I really want to hear yours. When I hear you speak, I feel like your wisdom is clearly coming from a place of having felt a lot of the painful stuff actively and having done the work and been there in those moments and the journaling and the contemplation and those little tiny sacred moments where it feels really hard and you pull yourself back up. Do you think that this type of awareness and surrender is available to individuals who aren't experiencing such hardship and loss?
Yes. Yes, because I have experienced those things, but my compass points towards joy and delight. So my sensor light doesn't come on when I'm feeling pain or frustration. My sensor light comes on when I am not feeling joy and delight.
Mm.
So I don't have to go to the places where, I don't come to a realization. I don't think I'm being considered in this situation because that is so far removed from my true north now, to be like, I'm not even available for someone to consider not considering me and having that be my person.
Yeah, that seems completely absurd. What the hell? But now I'm like, past versions of myself would have, but now I'm just like, what?
It's exactly right. Because I mean, we
Yeah,
only knew what we knew. And
yeah,
I didn't have any idea that I had a choice. I've
yeah,
only just learned that I had agency like 5 years ago. And nobody was mad that I didn't know about that. I was just, oh, I'll just bloom where I'm planted, and I'll look at my dreams. I know I'm not allowed to have them because they're too big and inconvenient for everybody else, but I'm allowed to look at them, or I'm allowed to want them, but not have them. Ugh, that sentence doesn't even feel good coming out of my mouth anymore. And it used to be my belief system. But a belief is just a thought we keep thinking. So when we learn something better that's working for us, that feels so good, and with your work, that's the whole point, is feeling it, and the benefits of regulation in your body. You're the first one to know if this is off or working. I mean, that it's so powerful. And then you realize that you're the powerful one. I was waiting for someone to give me permission to live the beautiful life I wanted. Nobody is sitting around thinking about how my life could be better. And yet I was outsourcing all of this. And once I realized that I was the one, I give myself permission. There's
Yeah.
no stopping. And I'm not mean about it. I'm just going.
Yeah. Yeah. And what you're saying is really beautiful for the individuals who I get to speak with a lot. And I probably would consider myself one, which is that we're really sensitive
Oh.
because that can seem like such a burden. But the beauty of it is that, yeah, you are really sensitive, meaning that you get that warning signal a lot earlier than everyone else. So when you reattune and you spend a lot of time doing the regulation, kind of like, I think the way the language I use is helping your body feel safer with increased levels of pleasure and joy. Because
Mm,
it will always prioritize what is familiar. So we actually do need to go through a attunement process where we just say,
yes.
very slowly, okay, and let's just slowly tell the body that it's safe. I had a moment where experienced when I really experienced a lot of deep love with the
Mm,
wonderful man that I'm with at the moment. I'd never experienced so much love, and I woke up in the middle of the night in sweats, panicking because my body was just like, "Are you sure? Is this? I
right.
didn't know this could exist. Are you sure?" And it took some time to
Yeah.
consistently just be like, yeah, and it's still okay. And it's still okay. So there's this reorientation that happens. But once you get to that reorientation, that sensitivity of the is such a gift because it means that you will never, ever get even close
Yeah.
to where you were before.
Yes. Yes. And thank you for seeing that in me and acknowledging that is associated with us being sensitive. Because
Mm,
I had a coach that said, one of the things I appreciate you about you the most, Wendy, is that you are available for coaching and you just keep going. You didn't go back. You didn't dip. I'm like, oh my gosh. I wouldn't like that is never even considered that. And so I appreciate the reminder that everyone doesn't have that practice of forward motion. And to that person, so much grace and love. And these practices can be picked up wherever you are, no matter how many times you've picked them up. They're all in service to you and to your highest and best. And that's where we all want to go.
yeah. I also hear that it sounds like the coach that you're working with matched your pace because the reason we take a step back is that a part of us didn't feel okay with the step forward. So then we like quote unquote self-sabotage and we take a step back. And we can only move forward as fast as our slowest parts will allow us.
Totally.
So it sounds like your slowest part aligned with the pace of your coach and you guys
Yeah,
had connection there. And so I wonder if for those people who do find that they tend to have that two steps forward, one step back, maybe the question is, oh, okay, well, if I was to move at slower than I want to, which is really frustrating sometimes because,
right.
oh my God,
Yes.
slower than I want to, but slowest I can. Oh, I
Yeah,
wonder what would happen.
right. Right. And would it feel slow if it was only one momentum in one direction?
Because it's slow and
Right?
steady. It's not
Exactly.
stagnant.
That's right. And it's not repetitive. You're on a road instead of on a track. You're not just going around and around. There's momentum to it. And
Yeah.
momentum, it doesn't have to be, it's not safe to take every curve at 85. Like there's actually fewer prizes for that because you can
Yes.
crash and burn, right?
Yeah.
So it's just this It is momentum, it's practice, it takes commitment. And I think we said it earlier that like my commitment to myself is real. It shows up in my morning practice, my commitment to that. I was saying on a podcast recently that when I say I get up at 4:45 every day for my morning practice, and some people are like, "Oh my gosh, how do you even do that?" Like, well, if you're doing something, regardless of what it is, if you give up sugar or stop drinking or whatever you're going to do for some benefit to your health or your experience, and you reap the benefit, the desire for the thing diminishes greatly because you've you got the prize, you've gotten this benefit. So it already fits my personality and my work schedule on the farm to get up early. And I love that time. And I'm not available to go back. I don't want to
Yeah.
be the version of myself that isn't filled up. And
Yeah.
I can tell the difference if I'm on a red eye and I don't do my morning routine because I'm getting off the plane instead. I as soon as I get to the hotel, I do it because it's important to me. Not the structure of it, but the practice of it, the ritual of it, the checking in with myself, the holding space. I'm a student of A Course in Miracles. These lessons are changing my life. They have changed my life. My life is changed. Like there's
Yeah.
no doubt that this is working for me. And
Yeah.
I think that's with any work, with picking up your book, with implementing these practices, with any coach or mentor or podcast anyone's listening to, any of those things. If it is
Yeah.
working for you, it's working for you. It's so good.
Yeah. And your body will always give you energy for what is truly in alignment.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Okay, I could talk to you all day because I want to know how does that work with your human design and what if you're an
Mm.
Enneagram too and like all of
Wait,
these.
I'm an Enneagram too. So
I'm an Enneagram too.
of course we are.
Of course
That
we
makes
are. That's
sense.
why we were offering so much help without anyone asking us.
Yeah, of course. Quickly, though, what's your human design?
Please. I'm a generator.
Generator, do you know your profile lines?
Where do I find that information
Be like
on
on a
here?
on the chart. They have some numbers. So let me just
Okay.
go down, get down a little
Oh
bit.
yeah, my profile is a
Yeah.
5-1.
Oh, a 5-1. Oh, that's fun for you. 5-1 left hand. Oh, emotional. Oh my God, beautiful.
Thank
Emotional
you.
authority. So you're having lots of emotions.
I am. That's
Yes,
why
I'm
I'm
also an
having a
emotional
good
authority.
time.
We are in the emotions, but not really a lot. I
Right?
feel like they really calm down the more that you do this type of work. But in the beginning, it can feel like a lot.
Right. And when you know that it's a part of how you make decisions,
Yeah.
then you're not as mad at them as you used to be.
Yeah.
'Cause you're
You're
like,
like, oh, thank you for that
oh,
information.
right. You're actually doing your job. Okay. Thank
You're
you.
literally made to do that. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank
Oh,
you. And when other people are like, oh my gosh, why are you so emotional? Well, let me tell you, because I was born that way.
I got a PDF.
That's right. And it looks like a
I love
space
that.
shuttle and it's super cool. And oh my gosh.
Oh,
Okay.
that's so nice.
Sheridan, I
Thank you
love
so much.
you so much. I cannot wait to take a very, very long plane ride and visit with so many of my friends, but also connect with you. This is not the last time. So
No, not at all.
sorry if
I've
that
really
was not
appreciated
in your
this.
plan,
No, no,
but we are,
no. I
yeah.
agree.
Thank you
Yeah.
so
Thank you
much.
so
Please tell
much.
everyone where they can find and follow you, how they can get the book, all of the good things.
Yeah, so I think the easiest thing is to put into Google or your web browser Sheridan Ruth, SHERIDAN RUTH. You'll find my website there and go check out the book. It's called Somatic Intelligence for Success. You'll find it on Amazon. So just pop my name or that word in Amazon and you will find it.
We will link everything down in the show notes as well. Thank you so much for your time. I loved this conversation.
I have to. Thank you so much. Have a good rest of your day.
You too. I hope you enjoyed that conversation as much as I did. As always, any links or notes mentioned can be found at phineaswrighthouse.com in the podcast section of our site or in the show notes below. And if you haven't connected with me personally, come find me on Instagram at Phineas Wrighthouse and let me know you listened to this episode. I'd love to get to know you. Thank you for sharing this time with me. I know your days are full, and I'm really grateful that you chose to spend some of your precious time right here. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss any of these delightful conversations. I'll see you next week.